Los Mijes.
The Mijes, we Mijes, represent a culture rooted in the Mexican state of Oaxaca that originated from a migration of Inca culture coming from Peru and settled around the sacred mountain of Zempoaltepec. We Mije, in our language, are called
Mijes nos
Ayuhay.
decimos Ayuhay. Esta cultura
Our culture is characterized for being a strong race, an indomitable race, they say.
indomable se dice, porque tenemos
Because we
el
pride
orgullo de
ourselves
que
in never
los
having been
españoles,
conquered by the
desde
Spanish
la estrategia militar, no la podían
with their military strategy due to the hard accessibility of the mountains in which we Mijes took refuge.
Se habla, se conoce
History
la historia
and
leyenda
legend
de que
have it that there was a chief,
tenían un
a
jefe,
great chief,
un gran jefe, que se le
known as Rey Concoy, a great leader, a strategist and organizer
el
of the
gran
Mijes
organizador
people.
de este pueblo Mije.
My name is Denis Antonio Perez Garcia, and I am a Mijes. I have many dreams. One of these is becoming a musician, a master, and directing a music band. A Mijes village, a Mijes community without a band, without music are inconceivable, unimaginable. Music is the soul of our people. In every circumstance there is the band, there is music. For a patronal festival, a family event, a wedding, a birthday, or a funeral. When somebody dies, the band is present with an appropriate style of music. We are speaking of the prelature. A prelature is a diocese that is taking shape. The Mijes and Mary Help of Christians prelature is located in the north of the Oaxaca state and is comprised of 230,000 inhabitants, 70% of whom are Mijes and 18% are Chinantecas. My name is Vanya Martinez Hernandez Clauitoltepec, and I am a Mijes. I have a family, my parents, and 3 brothers. I am the only daughter. Here I studied till the 5th grade. I studied for 2 weeks. Then I changed my school. Throughout my childhood I studied in different schools, not in one, because every year we moved to another place. When I started secondary school, my mother suggested that I go to Matagalinas. I wanted to go because it had a good reputation. Each time I saw my brothers, I saw that they were happy. I do not know. They were well. I arrived for the first year of the secondary school, and I discovered new things about religion and many other things that I did not know. I did not know the Our Father, and I learned to pray and something more. I knew the sisters, and I liked them very much, especially when I saw them playing with little girls. They spread joy.
Para el pueblo Mije,
The
la montaña
mountain
tiene
is a
gran
very important
significado,
element for Mije's people,
especialmente el
especially
cerro del
Sierra
Zempoaltépetl, la
Zempoaltepec,
montaña
the sacred
sagrada.
mountain.
En torno a esta montaña,
Precisely
los
around this
pueblos
mountain,
antiguos
our
se asentaron,
ancestors settled down, since to
porque
them
para
the
los
mountain
antiguos
was,
Mijes,
and still is,
la
the
montaña
symbol of
es
closeness to
cercanía
God.
con Dios. Para los pueblos Mijes,
Living close to the mountain
vivir
at its
cerca de la
feet,
montaña
to Mijes,
en la
means to
falda de la
count on the
montaña
blessing
es
of the
contar
Creator.
con la bendición y la protección de Dios. El Zempoaltépetl significa mucho.
Because of this,
Se hacen
Zempoaltepec
peregrinaciones,
is very
se
important.
hacen
People go
oraciones
there on
con el
pilgrimage.
sacrificio
They
Mije,
pray with the
llevan
Mijes
sus aves,
sacrifice,
llevan,
bring birds,
llevan
chicken,
sus
and
pollos,
oaxolotes to be
hacen
sacrifices on the
sacrificar
mountain,
en la montaña,
because the presence of
porque
God is there.
ahí está la presencia de Dios.
Aquí venimos por una...
Here we come with a worry.
Mi hijo está enfermo.
My son is ill.
Tiene quiste.
He has
Y
a cyst.
le venimos a pedir
And
a
we
Dios
come
para
here
que
to
le dé
ask
buena
God
salud.
to give him
y
a
salud.
good health. To
Para
us,
nosotros, tiene
it has a
mucho
great
significado venir
significance to come
primeramente
first on the
a este
mountain
cerro y
and then
después
to
ir a
go
la
to
iglesia.
church.
Es muy importante
It
traer
is
estas
important
ofrendas
to
y
bring
traer,
these
lo
offerings, to bring
lo
what
que
is
es
necessary,
necesario.
because if we do
Si
not
no
do it
cumplimos o no
in the
traemos
proper way,
completamente,
it will have no
no va a
effect.
surtir efecto. O si nosotros lo tomamos
Or
como
if we do
broma
it
o como,
as if it were a game
podríamos decir como,
or
no
something
sé,
common,
como una actividad cotidiana,
it will have no
no
effect.
surte efecto. Nosotros lo
We
debemos
must
de
do
hacer
it
con mucha
with
fe
great
y
faith,
pedirle a Dios
asking
que
God to
se
heal
cure.
my son.
Y la persona
My
que
mother,
da estas
who is an
indicaciones,
expert,
pues es mi mamá,
gives the
que es la
instructions.
experta. Ella dice
She
qué
tells
es lo que
us
se
what
tiene
must
que
be
hacer
done
y cómo se tiene
and
que
how to
hacer
do it,
y qué se necesita
and what is
para
necessary,
para
so that
poder
the
completar
offerings we
todas las
leave in this
ofrendas
sacred
que
place
nosotros,
will be complete.
vamos a
Because
hacer una
this
actividad. Acá en este
is a
lugar
sacred
sagrado, este es un
place.
lugar sagrado y vamos a hacer un ritual.
And we will
Después de que
perform a
hagamos el
ritual.
ritual,
And after
vamos a
doing
orar
it,
todos
we will
juntos.
all pray
Vamos a
together,
pedirle a Dios para que
asking
mi hijo
God
se cure.
to heal my
Y no
son.
es necesario la presencia
His
de
presence is not required,
nosotros lo podemos
but we can
sustituir
replace
sin
him
nada.
with an anointed
Es
person.
como que se está cumpliendo todo.
In this case, my
Y ahí
mother.
una vez que terminemos acá en
And
este
everything
lugar
is done.
sagrado,
Once we are
vamos
done
a
in
ir a
this
la
sacred
iglesia
place, we go to church
y
and
pedirle a
again
Dios
ask God
nuevamente para que se
to
cure.
heal my son.
Ahí se adora a
Because
Dios
God is there.
y
There we
de
adore
ahí se
Him,
obtiene
and we
la
obtain
bendición y la
blessing and
protección
protection
para sus
on the
tierras,
land,
para sus
the
campos,
fields, and the
para
family.
sus familias.
Como salesianos es respetar sus
As
costumbres.
Salesians, we respect the customs and traditions, letting ourselves be involved in the activities of the local people. Each one of us acted in a different way, focusing on diverse targets, but always for the good of the people.
Pero con la finalidad de seguir atendiendo a los pueblos.
Mi nombre es Ausencio Pérez Vázquez.
My name is Ausencio Pérez Vázquez, and I originally come from the Mijes community at the town of Santa Maria of Clauvitoltepec. I remember that they taught me to speak the Mijes language. I speak it well. I understand it and write it. I learned to write Mijes in the primary school. Now that I work as a teacher of indigenous education, I stay in the community of Magayal of Clauvitoltepec, which is a small community with few children who only speak Mijes. They neither understand nor speak Spanish, but they only communicate in Mijes. One of our targets in Sierra Mijes is continuing to work for education, especially that of the poorest and most needy. Evangelization on one side and education on the other.
Otra de las grandes riquezas es el
Another great richness is free service in the community.
En las comunidades.
People contribute to the development of their communities through tequio.
Con el tequio. El tequio es una manera,
a form of unpaid community work,
sin remuneración, sin pago. Entonces,
which has always been one of the traditional forms of organization for development in the villages.
El desarrollo de los pueblos.
Nosotros estamos dando servicios comunitarios también como padres de familia y como comité nosotros.
As parents, we are organized in a group. We have a task and provide services for the community. These services change every week. We are 12, and here we are in 3 couples and look after 100 children. We are therefore 6, but we are not enough for so many children. In this moment, we are preparing breakfast. First, we give fruit, because the children at 11:30 already start eating.
Ya desayunan los niños en lo que se prepara más.
Aquí en este pueblo de Santa María de Clauvitoltepec.
The town of Santa Maria of Clauvitoltepec is one of the first places where the Salesians arrived. And the first Salesian church is located here. These have been 50 years of intense work, during which we were committed as missionaries in this work. We achieved many targets and have set new ones. I come from Santa Maria of Clauvitoltepec, Mijes, Oaxaca. I live in Santa Ana. I have a family, 4 sisters and my parents. I studied in this region.
A lo largo de mi vida,
in my life, I have already learnt many things. Working, reading, writing. In the schools where I studied, I was taught many things, such as communicating with my schoolmates. I have been given many valuable teachings, which proved useful.
Y en el campo, pues,
In the fields, with my parents and grandparents.
cómo remover la tierra,
How to till the land.
cómo cuidar a los
How to look after the livestock.
toros, corderos.
Los últimos años, la mujer
Only
está
in the
ganando
last years, the woman is beginning to find a place in the community and in society. But in very recent years, whereas historically this figure was not considered to be a protagonist in any field of the Mijes community, social and political life.
en la vida religiosa ha sido
In religious life, it is the woman who transmits and educates to faith.
pero en otros ámbitos
But in other fields, she has been repressed and mortified.
estos son los
These are the great problems and limitations I find in our culture.
que yo pues, he descubierto en nuestra cultura. Ahora, en los últimos tiempos, pues hemos tenido este encuentro con nuevas culturas.
In the latest times, there has been an encounter with new cultures and mentalities through the phenomenon of migration. Our Mijes brothers had to migrate to the city for work.
A las grandes urbes para buscar trabajo. Esto ha sido también, por un lado, enriquecedor.
This, in a way, has been a reason for cultural enrichment.
La gente que sale
But from other points of view, it has created many difficulties. Because in this way, one can learn many positive things, but can also pick up vices and dangerous habits for oneself, the family, and the community.
también para sus familias y para las comunidades. No todo es riqueza.
All is not richness, and all is not
El
good.
alcoholismo, que es uno de los grandes
Alcoholism is one of our great limitations and has created many family and economic problems in our villages.
económicos. Existe también la tentación de, por otro lado, de
There's also the temptation to despise, to be ashamed of, and to belittle the values of our culture.
y muchas veces
The children often do not want to speak the Mijes language.
nos avergonzamos de
Some of us are ashamed of the traditional dress.
nos avergonzamos de
of our belonging,
nuestra raza,
and at times even of our physical aspect.
físicos y tal.
These are important challenges and must be faced with the right mentality.
Hay muchos pueblos también donde la gente más ya se está yendo por la lengua española.
There are many
Entonces, yo creo
villages
que
where
está un
people
poquito
are turning
mal
to
eso para
Spanish.
mí, porque ya están,
And
pues,
I somehow
así
regret
desapareciendo
this,
su
because
cultura,
they are
pues, más bien,
losing their
porque es parte
culture.
de la cultura, el
Because the
México,
language is
Sí,
part of
que
the
es,
culture.
nuestra vida, es nuestra,
I feel it as a
a la
part
vez,
of
pues, me
myself,
siento como si
of my
es
interiority.
mi ser, es mi interioridad, pues, porque más
Since
yo me
I mostly
desenvuelvo en
express
México
myself
que
in Mijes
hablando
rather than in
español, pues,
Spanish.
hasta incluso, pues, yo acá con los amigos, con los familiares, hablamos el Mijes.
Also, among families and friends, we speak Mijes in family discussions. Also, those who now live in the cities, when they return, they speak Mijes and are happier. It is
También ya se
beautiful.
comunican y se sienten felices también. Sí, y es bonito, ¿no?
The teachers themselves, who do their service here, and spend most of their time here in the village. When they leave, they plunge into the traditions and culture of the city. And during their visits to the schools, they say, teach the children Spanish, science, and technology. But we are not satisfied with teaching them Spanish. Because we are Mijes. We belong here. We belong to Clauvitoltepec. We are Yucay. It is beautiful.
De nylon. Muy bien, vamos a poner la letra N minúscula.
Los misioneros salesianos han estado acompañando.
The Salesian missionaries are accompanying with an integral evangelization.
Los hermanos salesianos, los misioneros han hecho
Salesians
una
are
labor
doing a great work,
de
a work of evangelization that is not only rites and ceremonies, but they do human promotion, formation, education, through workshops and courses that are held by collaborators, catechists, and permanent deacons.
diáconos permanentes.
I greet all the Mijes and Ayuik that are listening to me. Despite the difficulties we encounter in coexisting with modern cultures, we must fight to keep our traditions, our values, our religiosity, and to keep our language alive. The language gives us an identity. It fills us with pride. And it is what distinguishes us from all the others.